Ah, hello guys. I do not know who I'm actually gonna be against here. This queue was pretty fast, surprisingly, and I barely know any of my teammates. Like this was like a 1 minute queue, for some reason. I feel like I'm just gonna get cooked. Okay. I think the Aladdin was their top elo. I've never seen that name before.
That'll tide me over.
Alright, I need to fucking warm up a bit though. The sun is out today, but it's a little really cold in the shadows, so my hands are still kind of cold.
Hello from the heart of the Silver Moon.
But maybe closing my window might help. I'm gonna try and rock max as much as I can this game. I need to just do it. Get better at it. And I mean, on something like a Bracken, I think it helps a lot more. If you're just planning on building full tank, for the most part,
Minions have spawned.
that's kind of where I need my damage to come from.
Be careful.
Probably not much is gonna happen in this matchup though. Like Oda versus Cap is gonna be pretty fucking standard.
Retreat.
Let's try this. Usually I would go for a backhand always after winning the early clear, but
Be careful.
let's grab this. See how it goes. did forget to just time it.
First blood.
Wait, what is that? Mordred support? The fuck?
Your left tower is under attack.
It's interesting. So they should be up after this wave, potentially.
Set up an ambush here. Retreat!
I keep forgetting, but I do believe it's like a minute and a half. Respawn on those things.
Enemy missing right. An enemy has been slain.
Just go say hi over here as well.
An ally has been slain. Your right tower is under attack.
Yeah, he is pretty crazy. Like, the 2 is definitely a big impact. It's a big deal. Makes him quite good. Alright, I did lose my wave, but I made sure he didn't get my blue. Not really too sure if that was worth it.
Enemy missing right.
Enemy missing mid. Be right back.
I don't actually want to do the door again. I'm afraid it's gonna close on me. I'm not taking that risk.
We need wards.
He's in the jungle there, again.
Enemies in the left jungle. Be careful. Enemy missing middle. Okay.
An ally has been slain.
Oh no, that's a really good Aladdin ult.
Your middle tower is under
The
attack.
Thor can just survive.
An ally has been slain.
I'm on my way, buddy. I'm on my way. Okay.
You have been slain.
Bad Soul was saved for me. I'm so happy. Let's just get the early cooldown, I guess.
Your right
No,
tower
I can't.
is under attack.
Hello, company.
Follow me.
Damn. It would have been really nice if I did have my items when I rotated there, but I also didn't think it was going to go as bad as it did.
Your right tower.
They just had a 4-man rotation, basically. But, I got the Aladdin, so... Could have been a lot worse.
Missing right. Be careful.
But, like, oh, we're so deep. What are we doing up here, boys?
An enemy has been slain.
You've made an elf smile today.
Oh, at least the Odin's here. Because that could have been absolutely terrible for us.
been slain.
Please,
Your left
please,
tower
please.
is under attack.
Enemy missing.
And he's out.
You apart.
Aladdin beats.
He's on my purple. Let me gank this, Gib.
Be careful.
He's gonna go his purple. Let's get out, bro. Get out. Moderator here. Moderator here.
Bad Odin ults. Oh, if he reaches, that could be a kill, but it's not fast enough. Oh, he doesn't have ult. Never mind.
Your right tower is under attack.
I gotta chill a bit. Bots has been a problem for me twice now. I don't have beats, so it's pretty easy ult for him. And they just got my blue as well. Bullshit. And now, dude, Odin he also got the kill. Well, this sucks for me. Just like that, I'm 2 levels behind.
Your right tower is under attack.
Oh, well, at least I have 8 rocks, right guys?
Ready.
Moderator down.
Your middle tower is under attack.
Enemy missing middle.
Your left tower is under attack. Be careful left.
Enemies in middle lane.
Gib him on the way. Kill. Good job, Gib, man.
Let's see. He just banked, he might TP. Maybe I can still grab this.
Dan's a roll down. Oh no, done.
Yeah, they're on left still, so that's good for me.
An enemy has been slain. Enemy missing.
Gold.
Odin banked, he could go there.
Let's start. Let's start.
Nice here.
Aladdin close.
The Pyromancer has arrived. Your team has destroyed the Gold Fury. An ally has been slain. Enemy Your right tower is under attack.
Oh, he's still chasing. Still chasing.
Killing spree.
Aladdin knocked down. Missed. Aladdin coming back to you.
An enemy has been slain.
I'm just dead actually.
You have been slain.
Damn, the Odin ring diff. Me not being able to get away, and he also had fucking Phoenix Feather. I should have looked. I did not realize he had Phoenix Feather. Damn, it's big.
Your right tower is
My team's winning on the other side, so I'm not really too worried about this, and I'm getting a bunch of rocks. I'll be there for late game, but that's kind of a stupid death. I could have avoided that just by looking at his Phoenix Feather. Makes sense he was willing to trade me as much as he was, because I was pretty sure I was going to win that trade no matter what. Unless he had that fucking item. I said the Phoenix Feather is such a bad item. It's just so heavily countered by anti-healing, but like the one time it does work out is a huge difference.
Be careful. Your middle tower.
It's an interesting item for sure. I haven't really found a whole lot of interest in it myself, because every time I use it, they just have a shit ton of anti-healing. It's just fucking useless.
Dancer's one.
Bots is gone again, so I wouldn't trade in bots at this point.
Dancer going to his purple now, Thor. He's one.
An enemy has been slain. An ally has been slain. Double kill. Triple kill.
Good job, Shadow.
Yeah, he really wants to fight again. He ran out of mana himself. I'm chasing it.
Slain an enemy. You rock.
Only because he ran out of mana. Otherwise, I don't think I would have had a chance. I am gonna run Helm of Darkness this game, just because of the fucking ring. I need something to get through the walls. So I will have it actually just for that. Might be a bit stupid, but I really don't want to die to that fucking Odin ring. More than I need to.
He's here.
Enemy missing right. Your middle tower is under attack. An enemy has been slain. Your middle tower is under attack. An
Rocks.
ally has been slain.
Give me the rocks.
Rampage.
I could have TP'd there as well. Maybe I'm focusing too much on the rocks. TPing could have been good.
Your middle tower is under attack. An enemy has been slain. Enemy missing right. Attack the Gold Fury. Help! Your middle tower is under attack.
Behind us! Behind us!
Your team has destroyed the Gold Fury.
On my way!
On my way. An ally has been slain. Shut down. Double kill.
wish he just attacked with me.
Double kill.
Back in.
Deicide.
It's nothing.
He even had ult, actually. What the fuck was Cupid doing there? He just stood still as well. You ult them as I 3 them outside of the fucking go? We fucking win that fight so easily. Huh.
Your left tower is under attack.
Well, that makes me kind of sad. Thought we should have easily won that. Once again, I still got the Aladdin, so my rotation was still fine, but...
Your left tower is under attack.
Bots did just go and take my tower, though.
I'm taking TP now, Thor.
Your right tower is under attack. Your left tower is under attack. Your left tower has been destroyed. Enemy missing right.
Enemies in the right jungle.
Your middle tower is under attack.
Odin's gonna be there, mid guys.
On my way.
An ally
You're just way too far up.
They do fine, alright.
Your middle tower is under attack.
No, they're not doing fine. Danza's here. I mean, they can't do 2 of them.
Tower has been destroyed.
Oh, I don't know why I should wait for that. Us. Dude, fucking door. Ain't no way. I mean, worth it, but that's so weird, man.
Careful, Danza might be incoming.
Double kill on the wall. Yeah, the worst thing.
Enemy missing left.
I mean, I'm using my microphone, dude.
He might not have it on though. Could've just
Yeah.
Retreat left lane, bend right lane. Yes. Enemies at the fire giant.
Well played, everyone.
Yes. Attack left lane. Please.
Cancel that.
Attack. The enemy
I don't know, Sunder. Not that I could have done anything about it anyway.
Attack. The enemy team has destroyed the pyramids. Your right tower is under attack.
Lol.
Retreat! An enemy has been slain. Rampage!
Ultimate is ready.
Retreat!
Get out, man. Got fire.
Has destroyed the gold fuel. An ally has been slain.
Yeah, I thought they were all coming out, so I tried to cripple Aladdin before he really got there. That sucks. It's just Odin that gate that went out.
Enemies down.
Oh, I didn't buy anything, whatever. I'll save it. The blue stone then. Fuck. Oh, he went behind? That sucks. I completely missed him.
Attack.
Yeah, they hit cheese.
Your left tower is under attack.
Want to do pyro?
Yeah, we should.
Attack fire giant.
Yes.
Dan's a no ult, I don't think.
Retreat.
Aladdin ult down.
Ultimate down.
I don't know what I tried to ult.
An ally has been slain. Your right tower is under attack.
We kind of keep getting baited by the gap. Like, we need to just...
Killing spree. Your right tower is under attack.
Might need your game.
An ally has been
Yeah, I'm trying. Dante's here.
Your middle Phoenix is under attack.
I don't think they
Your
finish.
right
They just take mid.
tower
That's it.
is under attack. Your middle Phoenix has been destroyed. An enemy has been slain.
They're on fire, right?
Ultimate is ready. On my way.
Maybe. Could probably just stop them though. I'm in a good spot to stop them here.
Yeah, on the way. Clean in one wave. Yeah, this is stealable. It's 11k, 12k. Nice door.
That sucks. Didn't catch him in time.
Aladdin ult.
On my way.
Job, boys.
An ally has been slain. Killing spree.
We take right Phoenix now? Madrid here. Thor, need a stun, please? I don't know.
Shut down. Follow me. Completed. There's no way out.
You're just on fire, to be honest. We're just going different ways.
Just get out of them.
Curses. Unstoppable.
Thor, get ready to steal FG. With ult. I don't even think you can hear me.
Quiet.
On my
You
way.
can hear me.
Ultimate is ready.
Enemy spotted.
Game here.
This almost damaged them.
Double kill.
It's weird. I thought I got into the Aladdin ult there, because the fucking timer thing is so fast that I don't know. I thought that was gonna happen.
Your left tower.
I thought I was in, but I wasn't, and then I just died. That really sucks. I thought that was gonna be a good fight as well. They used so much shit on me in the very beginning. Bots had literally nothing.
Your left tower is under attack.
We'll see if they go for the end though. Looks like they're just going fire.
Enemy team has destroyed the
We gotta lose the
fire
Phoenix
giant.
anyway. Gabe can't even defend us.
Under attack.
Like what do I even build? What's a problem? What hurts? Everything. Everything hurts. He's got crit. I'll do Spectral then.
We need wards.
Your left Phoenix is under attack.
Fast as the wind.
At least they gave us another chance here, because they could have just ended.
Your right tower has been destroyed.
Hello, Nectora. Good to see you.
We need wards.
I'm on it.
We've got our Phoenix back up. I mean, to be fair, we're in a pretty decent spot to defend. All things considered.
The enemy team has destroyed the Gold Fury.
Retreat left lane!
And the time for you. Group up.
Yes.
Best of luck.
Vicious.
Probably gonna lose mid Phoenix here, because they're doing Pyro. I'm not too sure how Neo Pyro works. Or how it even works, to be honest.
The enemy team has destroyed the pyramids. Your middle
Yeah.
Phoenix has been destroyed. Your middle Phoenix
Is
is
it
under
always
attack.
mid? I'm not. I guess it's just mid. That's huge.
If this happened,
Modred is behind him, coming to you now, Morrigan. Modred coming to you.
We can't kill him. It's just me and Gip on this again. It didn't happen.
Return to base. Complete.
We have one character on our team that can actually kill Odin. That's Cupid's. At least he picked up the dagger, because it's probably the most useless on him. It's the least chance of him dying.
Guys, I'm in right lane. Please careful.
An ally has been slain. I sense fear. Have slain an enemy.
That sucks. Yeah, we do need you, Cupid, though. You're the only one who can actually kill their front line. So you probably
Yeah.
need to always be with us.
100%, man. That's why I was spamming to get out.
Yeah, but we were 3v5. We should have fought. We should have won that fight. We just don't have anyone who can actually damage the fucking
Right
tanks.
Phoenix is under attack.
Retreat!
Like, I don't know why he went right and pushed it in the first place. Like, there weren't any fire waves. I don't know why he went right in the first place. It would just be for Warhorn, but once you get Warhorn, you just go back to us then. I do not know why he wasn't right. Granted, he's also right. We shouldn't fight without him. That's just stupid, but it's definitely more on him for just not grouping.
Your
No,
left
we should have.
Phoenix has been destroyed.
As a prize for you!
We do have Morrigan, which is a bit awkward at the moment. I think he's playing really well, but we also don't have it like traditional mage, meaning we don't have a whole lot of like damage output coming from a mage at the moment. This is fucking huge though. Kill one more, we can end off of it.
Yeah, left is fully pushed. Can we finish? Did we just run past creeps or do?
We can run past.
We're slow. Aladdin up in 12. Just Titan only, come on.
Let's focus Titan, yeah. Only Titan.
GG.
Bye.
Yeah, good job, guys.
Shalom.
Victory.
Alright, it worked out in the end. That was good. A bit of a scary game overall, I would say. But I'm glad I was playing something I could help out with. They just pretty much threw it. That's pretty much all it came down to. Got wiped on Titan. Or in front of Phoenixes. And this is types of games I kind of really enjoy the most too, because even though we were on the like pretty much the game was in our enemy's hands, but my team is still willing to listen and try out things, right? We had the chance for a comeback just for the simple reason that we're willing to listen. What I think the closest class to Necromancer in WoW, it's definitely Unholy DK. I mean, that's literally what it is. Like, Necromancy is reviving the dead. That is what you do as Unholy. I mean, just Death Knight as a whole. You just do it more when you're Unholy. Like, I get what your point though. Like, demonology is definitely in the same vein, but demons aren't like. I guess it depends on what you view as a demon, because a demon is just like a different, like, race of being, I guess. It's not really necessarily erasing a dead thing. It's just summoning something else from another plane, or like from hell or whatever the hell it is. And Nectar, you've gotten so many like shoutouts on my streams lately, just because of that the program there fixing ping and stuff. I met one guy yesterday in my was it just no not yesterday then in my last stream who also had the same problem, and I just gave him that same program because that shit's legitimately helping. I didn't expect it to, but that's all on you. I do appreciate that. Now I can play the game. Like I will literally get a bad server just playing casuals for fun, and I will turn on the program, and it will just give me a better server. I didn't realize it was that easy. It just makes me mad that that's not how the game just works. Give me the closest server then, if it's that easy. Fuck. The only thing is now though, now I have one less thing to blame when I'm feeding. So that's also that. That's also your fault. Now I don't have that as an excuse. Now I have to just admit that I'm shit. I cannot be. Oh man, that was lag. Fuck that, guys. I wish I could do more, but I'm lagging. No, I like being honest too. Like if I'm not lagging and if I'm lagging and it's actually lagging that killed me. Like I often play Thor and the hammer was hella fucking laggy. Like it was like a half the second delayed. And obviously in some case I was like, dude, I couldn't fucking press the hammer. That shit's bullshit. I will say it. If I legitimately fuck up and I'm holy shit, I'm so bad, I will just say it straight up say I'm so bad. Like it's if I fuck up, I fuck up. If it's not on me, I generally tend to say it. It's probably a few like it is Nvidia. But yeah, it's I just prefer being honest about stuff anyway. But I'm glad it's not lagging it anymore at least. I actually don't know if I have reflex turned on. I'm pretty sure I just have default settings, so whatever is the default setting. I haven't really looked into it. I'm not a big PC guy, so I think you've noticed that by now. So I just usually leave stuff on. I'll show you when I get in. I don't think you see settings in Pix and Buns. I probably don't have it on. I feel like I don't have it on. Romeo. Well, guess I'm playing mid. Well, you know what? Actually, it's... Oh, I didn't want to mute voice. I kind of trade now. I trust him to go mid over me. I know he's a jungle main. And he's not getting his, and I'll just play... I'm probably better at support than he might be just because I do play tanks. Oh yeah, I probably don't. I don't think I need that. I don't think I want more button related tech. Should Hades support? I don't think I want to do Hades support, man. I do not know if I want to do that.
Select your god.
I don't know what else to play though. Like, what am I supposed to pick into this? I guess I can play Thor. I'll do Thor support. It's pretty nice here. I'm playing mid, or rather, I'm playing support. So I traded with Vlad. It's just we can't trade anymore for some reason. It doesn't give us the option. I'm a big ass support Thor. Odin could have worked, yeah, that's true. Now that I'm against Ares, though, I'm kind of happy I didn't go Odin, because that matchup is so boring to play. I don't think Odin support is good, though. I think Odin solo is. And I don't think people are sleeping on him that much. You think he's immune to the old? It's not so much the old I'm afraid of, it's just getting crippled the whole time. Odin is a pretty slow god. If you can't jump out of stuff, you will generally just die, especially as support, because you don't have the levels of a solo laner. I think as solo is not as bad, because you can generally survive it. Support is not always the case. Yeah, I'll check out my settings, Nectar, see how it feels.
Thor.
Thor. I'll check it once it's a possibility. You just can't do it in picks and bans for some reason. Like, you should be able to. Let me look at my settings. But no, it's an Iris. Do I go Shell? Yeah, I mean, I think so. I would do Sunder and someone like Thor for sure. Do I do Selflessness or War Flag? What's the best thing now? Hello, Pectus. Good to see you. Surely Nate knows this. Selflessness, okay. Selflessness. And I guess I will do Mystical Mail, because I am... Actually, I will not, because I'm against, what, Sol Ares? Fucking hell.
Yes.
Yes.
Out of mana.
I go solo lane build. I thought about it. I don't think I need to, though. Not in this one. Like, we have enough carry potential with our comp. I just want to keep Poseidon and Dancer safe. No, I think I want to do some kind of defense item. I think I will just do, it is as you said. Like, I'll just gonna go beats for my team as well. I was wondering what to go with to start out with. I think I'll just go with like this, the rune. One rune, please. Because I will 1000% go Stampede. I will go beats, and I'll go Pridwin, and then I'm not sure what I'm gonna do after that. Ankh, yeah, I will probably do Ankh. Maybe I won't do Ankh, but I will at least do these early motherfuckers. And just wait on buying Ankh, but I will get that anti-healing. Let's do this, so I get some mana. Get some multi-pots. Mantle is nice. I just feel like I'm Thor, you know? Surely I don't need that much CC immunity.
See you on the dance floor. Awesome.
This party is off the hook.
This should be a pretty easy comp to go into with ours, honestly. Especially as a Thor support. They can both be walled off. At least temporarily in Salt's case.
Sorry.
I kind of fucked that one up. Didn't mean to sunder at all, by the way, but no sunder. And then I tried to jump, and I also took up speed, which I think I should have given to him.
Retreat. Completed. An enemy has been slain. An enemy has been slain. Double kill. Nice job. Oh yeah, you're killing it.
That worked out way too well.
Your middle tower is under attack.
Out of mana. Be careful. Be right back.
Your
Just
left
take
tower
everything.
is under attack.
But yeah, I also just realized Ares is not the one I'm against. Where's Ares then? He's solo. Oh, it's Pinky. I guess that makes sense. Ymir's just body blocking the shit out of me.
An enemy has been slain.
Out of mana.
Fine.
Give me a little 5 for this.
You have slain an enemy.
Sunder is OP, yeah. It's not like I disagree, it's just, you know, it's offensive versus defensive, right? In Shell and Sunder. Oh, I'm stupid. I should have waited. Oh well. I'm just gonna fucking wait for this. I'd feel so stupid going back without this. Best defense, the best offense. You're alright. I do agree with you unless I'm playing Gep, you know? Why would I go Sunder on Gep? If I wasn't playing Thor,
Right tower is under attack.
I'm not sure I would go Sunder. Like, I have to play something aggressive that supports it, you know? On Gep, I'd rather be the ultimate defense in, like, double shielding, you know? That's kind of my logic behind it. I'd rather be good at one specific thing. Like, not being aggressive on Thor, for example, just feels like a waste. Why would you play this shit? It's like playing Fenrir as well in support and not playing aggressive. Like, what are we doing then?
Enemy missing left. Cancel that.
Down! Gank middle lane!
Be careful left. I'll gank middle lane.
Okay.
Enemy missing. An ally has been slain. Enemy missing.
Well, Fenrir died, so whatever.
I'll gank. An enemy has been slain. Be right back.
It's most like a cringe gank.
Down tower is under attack. Killing spree. Your right tower is under attack.
Behind us! Group up! You handled that heat well! Defend right lane! Gank! Gank!
We'll catch him eventually.
The glow. Slain an enemy. Be right back. Killing spree. An enemy has been slain.
I think we have a pretty nice diff in ADC here. I think we can definitely just keep on going like this.
Attack right tower. Okay.
I'm returning the careful! Cancel that!
Your team has destroyed a right enemy tower.
Follow me.
No
Enemy
problem.
spotted.
Ultimate is ready. Enemy missing middle. Cancel that.
Be right back! Ultimate is ready!
Bye. Killing spree. Attack the gold fury.
Hi, party people.
Would have liked to grab that, but oh well.
Enemies incoming left.
Thanks!
Your team has destroyed the gold
right
fury. Your right tower is under attack. An enemy has been slain.
Cancel that. Enemies in right.
Shut down. Double kill. Rampage.
Enemy
Oof.
missing.
Your right tower
Enemy
is
missing.
under attack.
Calculated.
My father's beard. That was close.
Your team has destroyed a middle
Defend
enemy
left
tower.
lane. Enemies behind.
I'm high level install. It's great.
Your left tower is under attack.
I think I make this in time.
Enemy ultimate.
Your left tower is under attack.
Break it down! Ha! Catch you!
Enemy ultimate down.
Just has to keep him there long enough for Dancer to come and get the kill.
Your middle tower is under attack.
Enemy missing.
Damn.
On my way. Ultimate
Retreat.
is ready. Gank! Gank!
An ally has been slain.
Please.
An enemy has been slain.
Attack left tower.
Your team destroyed a left enemy tower. Killing spree.
Out of mana. Attack.
An enemy has been slain. Your middle tower.
Damn, I wanted to heal.
Retreat. Shut down.
Retreat.
Out of mana. Be right back. On my way.
Double kill.
I sense your fear. Enemy ultimate incoming.
An ally has been slain. The enemy team has destroyed the gold.
Ow. That sucks. I tried to see if I could juke him with it.
Unstoppable.
Didn't really work out.
Your right tower is under attack. Double kill.
Oh well.
Bummer, dude. That's too bad.
By juke him, I mean juke the gold outside of the raw snipe. But it is what it is. Was my center up actually? Am I stupid? Maybe I'm just stupid. Hello, booming business. Good
Your
to see
right
you.
tower is under attack.
I think on Thor, like, he is very by the book, I guess, on what you should be doing, especially for playing support, in terms of just the walls. So I think that probably also adds to it.
Rampage.
Wait, why is Sol in solo? No? See if I can TP to right if he needs me. And if not, I'll just do these.
On my way.
On my way. Your team has destroyed the Pyromancer. Your right tower is under attack. Your right tower has been destroyed. An ally has been slain.
Thanks. I'm attacking.
Your middle tower is under attack.
On my way.
An ally has been slain. Your left tower is killing spree.
Oh,
Your left tower is under attack. Your middle tower is under attack. An enemy has been slain.
Attack the fire giant!
Your left tower is under attack. Your middle tower is under attack.
she's too tanky for that.
An enemy has been slain. Well fought. Double kill. Unstoppable. Your left tower is under attack. Your left tower has been destroyed.
I'm just gonna keep being tanky. Like, I'm just gonna keep healing and helping my team out. So, whatever. Probably not gonna build a whole lot of damage. If anything, maybe I'll do like a shifters or some shit for like a 5th or 6th item if we get that far, but... doubt. I doubt we're getting
Your
that
middle
far.
tower is under attack.
Okay.
Immortal. Bathe the glow.
That wall.
Double kill. Your team destroyed a left enemy tower. An ally has been slain. Double kill.
Attack the titan!
Godlike. Shut down.
Oh well,
Isn't
that sucks.
unfortunate?
I wanted to kill Ra, because otherwise I thought he might become a problem. But oh well. I do think we're getting a little bit greedy for the end. Because this one, dude, like, they live 14 and 15 and shit. They're not gonna fucking... They're not gonna be dead long enough.
Let's put on a show!
Behind us!
An enemy has been slain.
I should buy more wards. I've been slacking on wards this game. I'm not doing the big support thing. I buy wards.
Your team has destroyed a middle enemy tower.
Enemy ultimate down! Ultimate is ready. Attack!
Yeah, he doesn't need my help with this.
The enemy team has destroyed the Gold Fury. An enemy has been slain.
Didn't realize Saul was sitting behind.
Killing
No
spree.
problem.
Completed!
Sorry.
An ally has been slain.
Ow, Phoenix. Why do it hurt so much? I'm tank.
An ally has been slain. Double kill. Killing spree.
Attack the fire giant!
Damn it, I was
Your
going for the
right
Warhorn.
tower is under attack. An ally has been slain. Your middle tower is under attack. Your middle tower has been destroyed. Excellent.
Actually, I should have just done Runeforged.
Your left Phoenix is under attack. Your middle tower is under attack.
Did not realize.
An enemy has been
Should have done Runeforged.
Your left Phoenix is under attack.
There ain't no way we're not killing them! What the hell? Oh, dude. I'm actually stupid. I just completely forgot. I'm selling this shit just for this. If I was allowed to. Why can't I sell this? I forgot to buy anti-healing. And now it's becoming a problem. Though I shouldn't be the only one. We do have Poseidon actually, but I don't think he was attacking them at the time, so they didn't have any anti-healing. When we just attacked them. No, that's not true. Mordred was there. Never mind then, because... Yeah, never mind. I'm not sure what made a difference. Dude, Ares is just dead, right? Maybe. Soon. You go, Ymir.
An enemy has been
Can I...
slain.
Dude, what is happening here? Why can't I... Whatever. I'm just not allowed to sell my items. I guess I can't buy it.
Enemies at the Gold Fury! Gank! Rampage!
Enemy missing.
Your team has destroyed the pyramid.
Attack the Gold Fury! First rule of my party.
I haven't been getting any kills, so the fact that I've been just fighting permanently also means that I don't... I'm now behind, even the Afro.
Be right back. On my way. Ultimate is ready.
Okay.
My bad.
Next up, fucking anti-healing. At least just buy those two things, just so I have some.
Your right tower is under attack.
I just wasn't in range, man. Not in range for beats.
Your right tower is under attack.
At least I don't think I was.
Defend right lane.
Yes.
Cancel
I'll
that.
defend.
Your right
It's gonna
tower
push by
is
itself,
under
but
attack.
I think our wave should win that in rain. Just gonna take a while for it to push.
Ward the fire giant.
Your middle tower is under attack.
Enemies at the fire giant.
Someone say glitter storm. I'll get. We need wards. Wait.
The Pyromant has
On my way.
arrived.
Attack!
An ally has been slain. Killing spree.
Back off. Alone.
An enemy has been slain.
Just, I don't have enough HP to chase this.
Shut down.
Alright, we still want the trade, I think. Especially after getting Phoenix. Well done. I just don't feel tanky at all. It's actually crazy. Maybe I get brawlers instead. I just don't have the money for that. Only 300 more gold. But whatever. I don't really think I need it. I'm just gonna be a CC bot and a try and peel bot. I just think it's too late for me to go for damage items. Well, maybe too late is not the right word to really use, but well, I mean, I think it is. No, undo. Now it is too late, dude. The shop is so bad in Smite 2. It still just glitches all the time. I can't undo it now anyway. I was gonna undo it.
I'll defend left. Be careful.
Group up. Group up. Enemies have returned to base.
Fucking hell, at least I'm playing Thor in this one. It would have taken me years if I was playing an actual support to clear those waves. The wave should win now, I think, with the big one.
Okay.
behind us, guys.
Double kill.
That was close.
Double kill.
We should stop mindlessly chasing someone who's like the non-important ones. Like Ra, Afro are by far the two we need to deal with.
On my way. Ultimate is ready.
Destroy the fire tower. Killing your free is off the hook.
I got my Sandra off. I don't know which one of us got it, but sucks that I died. Whatever.
Defend the group.
I got fucking destroyed, man. I actually took the Ra L to the face, and I can't believe how much damage that did to me.
Your right tower is under attack.
Defend.
I wish I could see the HP.
Your team has destroyed the gold fury.
That's huge. Earlier Ra snipe. Fucking Poseidon 1 got it. Dude, Sol has the dagger as well. Huh. I mean, that's good for us. I think she's by far the easiest on their team to kill. Maybe outside of like Fenrir at this point.
This party is off the hook.
Attack left lane. Ultimate is ready.
Be careful. Middle.
Behind us.
Okay.
Double kill. Rampage.
It was really unfortunate that Ymir didn't get the wall on. I think he kills this, right? If Ymir got the initial wall, it would have been really good.
Your right tower is
On
under
Ra.
attack.
Damn, they might just look for the end.
Your middle tower is under attack. Your middle tower has been destroyed.
Yeah, the ult did 2k to me. Damn, dude.
Your middle phoenix.
Am I tank or not? I don't know. Be careful, man. Just don't die. Yeah, they're getting
Your middle
phoenixes.
phoenix has been destroyed.
Woof. That's the thing. I mean, we're pretty much full late game. Ra has a bunch of shit. And, like, Ra's one good, really good thing he has going for him is his snipes. And if you're good at that, then you're doing your job. And it's April. Like, he's probably gonna do the job.
Be careful! Middle!
I definitely don't feel tanky anymore. Even to Fenrir. That's crazy.
Has been slain.
It's just the Afro Ra combo. Like, Afro is making sure Ra never dies. That's the main issue on their team comp for sure.
Just follow the beat and have fun!
If I can land on Ra and he doesn't have beats, he dies. But no, there's always an Afro on top of him also having beats. It's gonna burn real fast. Yeah, it's fucking down
Has
already.
destroyed the fire.
Retreat!
Unstoppable.
Yeah.
An ally has been slain.
We kind of just ended up letting Ra run the game. I feel like every fight I was the only one trying to actually look for out for the Ra and the Afro.
Your Titan is under attack.
How your team just die? They just got run down. Like, we have Danza and Poseidon. Like, you're gonna chase them down, especially this late in the game. Like, this right here was the problem. And why we never focused them in fights is the reason why we lost. Like, our team loved running down the Fenrir or the Ares, and sure, those might be nice and free kills. But if we're letting Ra freecast with an Afro on top of him, we're never killing him. We had to absolutely focus the shit out of Ra. And definitely, I mean, April is really good at sniping 100%, but people got killed by snipes too much. That's also what something that happened. This happened to me as well. Like, this was actually just a 2v5 and they won it. Obviously not completely, but I'm surprised at how much damage Ra did. There's no way he did 2k damage to me with a single ult. That seems not right. Something has to be up, man. How did I get hit as a full tank? Almost, besides from Runeforged. Every single other one is a protection item. How did I hit for 2k? Something feels fishy about that one. It must have been like the stars aligned for that one snipe. Yeah, it might have been It might have counted. Even so, 2k is definitely probably a visual glitch on the kill thing, but he still hit me for 1.4k when I was alive. That didn't kill me. 1.4k is insane on a full tank still. I could see it, but I still think that's insane. Excuse me. Oh well, it was still a fun game. Like, it was definitely fun. I think we threw this one super hard though. Like, we were in the Titan room. We were in the fucking Titan room at one point. Like 20 minutes ago. We could have won this if we didn't just play like idiots. Like, I think our Ymir played really well, but one of the issues with how he decided to do some team fights was that he just kind of ran one person down and he would end up dying instead of them. If he just stays with us and kills whoever we're on, they just die even faster, and we don't need to chase people down. We have two walls. We have Ymir Thor. We wall someone off, we insta-kill them. We wall someone off, we insta-kill them. And just keep that. You're doing that. Alright, see you, Nectura. Have a nice one. I also don't think my stream today will be that long. just because it's really hot. Not necessarily outside, but the sun now that is getting it's out all day. It just sits in my apartment and really heats it up, and I cannot be asked to sit with a headset. Getting a ceiling fan. I mean, I have a normal fan. I just haven't grabbed it yet. But even then, do you just headset your speakers? Do you, but you can't hear me then. I don't have I don't have an actual microphone. It's in my headset. Then I wouldn't be able to stream. Like when I'm not streaming, I use speakers. Get a microphone. I don't have space for a microphone. I would have to buy some weird microphone. I have my friend has already tried to do all. Well, it's a money problem, right? Mics are expensive. If I had to get a nice one, I had to use at least like 1k Danish crowns on that shit. Like I don't even know how much that would be in euros. Like maybe like 150, 200 euros or some shit like that. I would have to spend money that I don't have at the moment. I have this one friend who's very picky when it comes to microphones, and he won't let me get anything less than what he has. And the only problem is I don't know anyone who has knowledge of setting up a microphone other than him. At least if it's like a bigger one. I'll figure it out eventually though, because I do want to do that type of setup. I want to get a wireless headset and I want to get a microphone. It just isn't on my immediate priorities because there's other things I need to buy first. There's more practical things that I need other than that. Yeah, I don't think I need something fancy either. It's just a bit different. Like singing, you just need a microphone. But I think for streaming as well, you gotta make sure you get a microphone that doesn't pick up you as well, just slamming your head against your fucking keyboard. That was the problem I had with my last microphone like that. So you do need some filters and like noise cancellation bullshit and all that stuff that I'm not really too, uh, I guess, immersed in. I don't think it would be a problem, by the way. I'm just speaking my thoughts on this. I could easily just watch a guide on how to do all that stuff. It's just I'm not in a position to buy it all right now, so I haven't looked into it. There's just too many other things, like practical things, that I need in my life other than a microphone at the moment. Because I have something that works. I realistically don't have a reason to just go and buy that stuff now. Unfortunately, there's so much other shit that I need to buy. Like new clothes. I need new clothes. I haven't done clothing shopping in a long fucking time, and a lot of my shit is just fucking, it's falling apart. So I need to do that at some point. Pretty soon. I'll give you money, but I'm unemployed. You don't have to give me your money. It's fine. I have a decent income. It's just right now there's just other things that I need to buy first. That I am buying. So I just don't have the money for a microphone right this moment. And again, like I don't need it. Like emphasis on the need part. I have a setup that works. It's just gonna be a bit hotter than usual. Because it is getting hotter. And to be fair, we still have a few, well, maybe like a month or two, at least, until it gets really hot. Now the sun's just coming out. So it should be fine. Yeah, I mean, a ceiling fan would fix it, but I feel that's overkill for me. I just have a normal fan that usually does the same. I have like one of those big ones, like on the ground, that's very tall. Like, it's same thing, just to get some circulation. And that works just fine for me. I just haven't picked it up just yet. It's just standing in the back. Unplugged. The fuck do I ban? Odin ban? The hell are we looking at to pick then? I guess I'm banning Bari. I will also say one of the big issues with this isn't just like what's inside my apartment, it's also the outside. It's very, very somewhat old, like brick walls, and they just absorb heat so easily. That's also one of the big issues why my apartment gets really hot. And that's just not something I can fix. No matter what, I think I can avoid that it's gonna be really, really, really hot.
Select your god.
But I can obviously try and do what I can on the inside. I don't even know what to pick now. I kind of want to try the Yemoja aspect. I'll try the Yemoja aspect. Maybe I should have made sure Sobek was out if I wanted to do Yemoja. If I meet Sobek against solo, it's going to be the most boring shit, and it's going to be pretty hard matchup, honestly. Did we really just pick Gib mid? Dude, why are we even playing this game? Why is Pinky being so criminal? He went Ares solo before. Went 2-12. Now he's going Geb mid. I'd rather have Ares solo. At least I know that shit's gonna be useful. Dude, am I against Fenrir then? Fuck, man. That's even worse than Sobek. I cannot stop his 2. Or his Brutalize. I mean, Geb anything is fun, I think. It's just...
Yemoja.
It's a bit criminal, I feel like, in a game like this, where you know you're probably going to be against some good people. Not only that, I'm pretty sure that's going to be like April on Acne mid. So you're going to be one of the best players in EU playing Geb mid. You're asking to get shit on. Also Acne of all things. Like, Acne is not going to have a hard time into Geb. Not really sure any mage is, to be honest. Okay, it's not... Well, it's just some dude called Nobody. But... Still... At least it's not April. I'm happy about that. Maybe actually I'm against Pele. I need to go beast this game. What do I even build? Thought that's kind of... Actually, I'll do... Let's just start with the cooldown. Yeah, I have no idea. It could either be Fenrir or... I'm assuming it's gonna be Pele solo, because Black Phoenix is a jungler, or an ADC, I think.
Blessings upon you.
Let's see how this goes. Who knows? I mean, Pinky won last game. I'm sure he can win this one too. I'm just glad I'm not into Sobek, to be honest. Fenrir might be tough, but I should have kill potential if I'm against Fenrir. Sobek would just be unplayable, I feel like. He's gonna go protection, and he's gonna go tanky. And he's still gonna kill me. Guess I can't get away.
Minions have spawned.
Though as opposed to worst case scenario would actually have been a Wheelix. I would never be able to use my 3.
Not as soft as it looks. Thanks.
No
Pele. It's good.
My mistake. No problem.
What? Someone already took it? Ain't no way, man. Someone fucked me over already.
Elegance and dangerous.
Suspect is a bit weaker early on than other Yemoja that I usually do, well, it's just a bit more auto attack based. But once you get items online, this one is definitely a lot higher in the damage.
Right. Your middle tower is under attack. First blood.
Not as soft as it looks.
I'm just missing my one too much right
Your
now.
left tower is under attack. You have been slain.
Enemies in left lane.
Yeah, I decided I was probably just dead there. I also leveled my one more than once, which I didn't mean to do.
Your left tower is under attack.
That was a mistake.
Attack!
Pat pressed it.
Enemies in left lane.
Oh, some cringe ganking happening. Should have seen that coming, I guess.
Your left tower is under
Dude, they sundered me each once every death. That's actually some hella cringe stuff. I got sundered when I died before, and I just got sundered again.
tower is under attack. Completed.
Oh, he's gonna die.
Enemy ultimate
Oh.
down.
Maybe not.
Ultimate is ready.
Not as soft as it looks.
That was 5, man. Just those fucking 5. Or if I had my 3, that also would have been kind of nice for that chase.
An ally has been slain. Double kill.
This will just generally feel much better once I have Chronos Pendant online.
Not as soft as it looks.
Group up! Wait! Okay. Attack the Gold Fury!
Finner's right.
Ultimate is ready. Attack. Attack.
Attack the gold
Enemy
fury.
missing left.
Attack the gold.
Stay alert. Not as soft as it looks.
I'll actually pick up my blue here real fast. Prolong it.
The enemy team has destroyed the gold fury.
Oh, that sucks.
Okay. An unfortunate misstep.
Oh, my long cooldowns, man.
Stay alert.
Your left tower is under attack.
Fuck it. Spam my shit.
Again.
Your right tower
For me.
Maybe I do spear as well. To get some more power from an item.
enemies. Your middle tower is under attack. Your left tower is under attack. Your right tower is under attack.
On my way.
An ally has been slain.
Not as soft as stay alert. Stay alert. Enemy missing left. Stay alert.
Attack, attack. Your right tower
On my
is
way.
under attack. An ally has been slain.
Not as soft as stay alert.
Ain't no way, man.
Slain an enemy. Your middle tower is under attack. An enemy has been slain.
Well,
The tide.
if it's not already very easy to tell, I don't play Yemoja very much. I always struggle mostly with the placement of the ults. It's just one of those things that once you know where you should be placing it, you're just gonna automatically be much better at playing the god.
My blessing for you.
Your left tower is under attack.
Enemy missing left.
An unfortunate misstep. On my
Enemy
way.
spotted. Not as soft as it looks.
Nah, she knows I'm going to. Sorry.
Your right tower.
Also
is
kind of
under
a
attack.
weird TP from on her. You're always welcome to try, but seems a bit weird. You lost a full wave for doing it.
Shut down. Slain an enemy.
Always live on.
Your right tower is under attack. attack.
Stay alert.
Oops.
Completed.
The enemy team has destroyed the Gold Fury.
Stay alert.
That's too bad.
An ally has been slain. Your left tower is under attack. Your right
I
tower
like
is
this
under
one.
attack.
Suppose I'll do Divine. I don't want Pele's ultimate to be a big problem. The amount of healing she can do with that shit is just... He's going full tank though.
Not as soft as it looks.
Your middle tower is under attack.
Enemy missing left.
I haven't not been rock maxing this game, because I just know if I meet anyone in the jungle, or at least before, I would just get shit on.
Gank middle lane.
My blessing for you. Stay alert.
An ally has been slain.
So enemy missing left.
He just went and TP'd. That's so weird, man.
Not as soft. My blessing for you.
Your middle tower is under attack.
I guess I'll get tower as well for this.
Your right tower is under attack. An ally has been slain.
My blessing to you.
Your right tower is under attack.
Oh, I thought he was chasing me. That's so fucking cooked.
Your arrogance.
Your left tower is under attack. Enemy team has destroyed the pyramid.
That was just badly played overall.
Has been destroyed. Your right tower is under attack.
My Yemoja is definitely something.
Under attack.
In Smite's history, she is definitely one of my least played gods, but even so, that was just bad.
Killing spree.
I mean, Honor might win, but he really should just stop walking up. Like, despite even winning the 1v1s and stuff.
Tower is under attack.
Just gotta be careful
Your
at this
middle
point.
tower is under attack.
Enemy missing left.
Killing spree. Your left tower is
Enemies
under attack.
incoming middle. Stay alert.
Enemies at the Gold Fury.
The enemy team has destroyed the Gold Fury.
Stay alert. My blessing for you.
Your middle tower is under attack.
Let's get Obsidian Shard as well.
My blessing for you. My blessing for you.
The Pyromancer.
That's so much damage though. I feel we could have fight. Definitely could fight.
An enemy has been slain. Double kill. Shut down. An ally has been slain. Shut down.
Oh, weird fight.
I pity your arrogance.
Worked out though. I'm not gonna complain about it. That Gibbs dead.
An ally has been slain.
Enemy spotted.
Double kill. Killing spree.
Next time, it will go better.
That's too bad. Your middle tower is under attack.
Just gotta keep farming.
Your middle tower
Get to the
has
point
been
where my
destroyed.
2 will just fuck up their whole team. That's all I can really do.
Not as soft as it looks. Not as soft as it looks. Elegant and dangerous. Enemy missing left. My blessing for you.
Be right back. Enemy missing! Enemy missing! I'll attack!
The enemy team has destroyed the Pyromancer. Your left tower. An ally has been slain. Your left tower is under attack. You have slain an enemy.
Yeah, I'm fucking them up. Dude, I'm practically killing their whole team! How are we not winning this fight? It's so much damage that team fight. Isn't this game dead too? I mean, Smite has been, it's been in a pretty low place for a while, but we'll see what happens. Like, I think Smite 2 is in a good spot overall, or has been. It's had a few rough patches recently, but... Bro, we're really jumping in like this.
Has been slain. Your middle tower is under attack. An ally has been slain. Double kill.
I mean, if we had something else than Geb mid, I actually think we would just win this.
Your middle tower is under attack.
That's the thing, though. Like, you should just play what you think is worth your time. Right now, I'm having so much fun with Smite, and I think it's worth my time. If you don't think the same, then you shouldn't play it.
at the fire giants.
It's pretty much that simple.
My blessing for you.
I mean, that's just so fucking boring. How they all just went for me there. Not really much to do. At least that's dagger.
Killing spree.
Hey, Saber, thank you for the raid, man.
Tower is under attack.
Hope you had a good stream. I'm currently struggling a bit with what I'm witnessing in my game.
Enemy team has destroyed the gold fury.
Get 'em.
Yeah, I'm having some fun. Could be better. Like, I'm currently dealing with Get Mid
Has been slain.
in my game here. But it is what it is, you know. I'm having fun. Yemoja aspect is definitely interesting.
Your left tower is under attack.
I see the potential in it.
Your right tower is under attack. Your right tower has been destroyed.
Defend right lane.
Your middle tower is under attack. Your middle tower has been destroyed. Double kill. Shut down.
The right lane.
I just gotta keep building, do more and more damage. They're grouping a lot as well, which is lucky for me.
Elegance and dangerous.
How are we still not killing that Finray?
On my way.
Not as soft as it looks.
Killing spree.
My blessing for you.
Your team has destroyed a right enemy tower. Double kill. Triple kill. Rampage.
My blessing for you.
Yeah, like, stop chasing, guys. It makes no sense. We could have just won off of
Is
that.
under attack.
Or like getting some objectives.
Your
Maybe just
right
team play
has
more.
been destroyed.
It's too late now anyway. I don't even know I'm saying it. We just didn't.
Is under attack.
That's so tragic. I also don't know why we have a Get Mid though.
Killing spree.
Unironically, if we didn't have Get Mid, I think we could have easily won off of the one team fight where we just almost wiped them. But we have Get Mid!
Defeat.
Why do we have Gap mid? Why? Of all the things you could pick. It's so tragic, man. Pinky, I want to let you know I want to report you for this game, but I'm not gonna do it. I know you generally try, and you just want to have fun and stuff, but the Gap mid is such a bad pick and is so troll. There's absolutely no way that you picked it with the intention of winning the game. I can't believe that. I think we could have won. Like, we had some good team fights, Iker. I definitely think we still could have won. The problem is just every time Gep was alone, he literally can't do anything. Like, what is a Gep gonna do? A full mage Gep, he gets CC'd once and he dies. He's practically the most useless character on our team, just based on what he's building. Like, I might be able to make up. The thing is, if he went tanky, it would have been different. He can still be useful as a tank Gep, because I'm building full damage, and I essentially did what I'm, like, the amount of mage damage that we needed. Because I was also building full damage. But Yemoja can do that with the aspect, Gep cannot. No matter what you do, he's gonna be shit. Against any good player. It might work against casuals. But it's just dog shit. You need some serious setup to make it work. Yeah, I mean, it wasn't perfect for me either. Like, I got ganked twice early on to the same Fenrir. Like, I died really early. Like, level 4, I died twice. It was a bit of a cringe gank, so it's hard to expect it. But I shouldn't have died. Mostly the second time.
Select your god.
Finn. I want to do Aspect Yemoja again. I really do want to try it. Like in an actual game. Fucking Ares, man. I need to go beats again. Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong, Eager. I think we still could have made a comeback after actually winning fights. Like, one fight in mid, when we won on the Phoenix, I did so much damage in that team fight that we actually ended up winning it. And then we chased, the one on, like, the weird chase that people did. Just to kind of try and kill the Fenrir, when we could have just done gold. Potentially Pyro, I forgot his Pyro was up. We could have just pushed towers. Like, chasing the Fenrir would have done fucking nothing if we got the kill. What are we gonna do with that one kill? It's an objective game. We gotta just do the objectives. So I think we would have lost that game probably either way, just based on how our teammates was playing it. But, oh well. Dude, we got so outdrafted this game. Like, what am I gonna do, man? What the fuck am I gonna do? Actually, am I gonna be against Merlin? It might be Odin jungle. That would make more sense. They have 2 ADCs as well. Which I think will be mid and ADC. Like, do I just go Shell? This feels more like a Shell game than it feels like a Beats game, but it really feels like a Beats game too. Like, what the fuck am I supposed to do? Yeah, it is jungle.
Yes. You bunch of jamooks. You bunch of jamooks.
Okay.
I mean, what the fuck, man? I can't go Beats and Shell this game. I'm so cooked.
Unlucky.
Just go Shell and buy beats.
Okay, that is actually true.
I'm just gonna go Helm of Darkness later eventually.
You can go that. I guess
Why
I
does
have to go
the,
Shell
why
as
does
well.
the jungler have shell?
I mean, I didn't think Nate was buying it.
I'm gonna
I just
buy it as
bought
well. Don't worry.
Rip.
No, buy Thunder at this point. We have 1 shell. No?
Bro,
Yeah, we need Sunder.
I have
We need Sunder.
25 seconds, man.
Well, get Sunder then.
Good luck, pal.
Yes, we are cooked, fellas.
Brilliant.
Are you in like a really big room?
I'm in a
You
church.
guys are trolling me.
Ah.
Me? In a big room?
What?
No, me. I'm in a
Yes,
church.
I'm in a big room.
My bro's playing in the church.
And I'm underground as well.
Minions have
So basement.
Yes.
It's not funny, man. You need to get out. Are you being held there?
Yes, I'm on the Impact's house.
Well,
Yeah,
that's
boy.
too bad, Sonny.
You just fucking fry this buff, don't you?
Good luck, fellas.
Probably,
Good
yeah.
luck.
Not as soft as it looks.
Bye-bye.
Until
Bye.
next time.
Still missed the fucking creep though.
Be careful.
Yes, Shane, I think.
Yes, he will try to chain me and then sunder me and just kill me.
Not as soft
Oh,
as
he does that.
Why is she hitting for
I am dead.
100 men?
First blood.
Oh well.
Be careful, chains.
This is why you don't sunder the buff.
Has been
Unlucky.
slain. Well, that's too bad, Sonny. Double kill.
What you mean?
Look,
You
good
save,
luck to
you
sunder
save
the buff.
Sunder there and we kill her, but it's okay, it doesn't matter.
Thunder level 2 doesn't do that much damage, just so you know.
Your left tower is under attack.
It visually tickles.
I mean, it's like 100. No, actually, I don't know.
Yeah, it's very low. And I have Thunder now, so.
But we're behind.
I mean, it's okay. Not every game, you have to be ahead. You know, just enjoy life. And, you know, bad times, yeah,
You know, unlucky.
that's it.
Do we have backs? No. No, yes, we do.
Yo, the jungle is on my jungle. Where is my jungler?
There, okay.
Be careful.
Gank right lane.
Holy shit, the jungler. Oh my god.
Odin might.
Okay, so
Odin
that's-
and Ares are coming to portal in solo.
Has been slain. Your left tower is under attack.
Go help them, furry person.
I'm going to help.
I'm not level 5. I didn't even get the fucking assist for that.
Oh, they are level
No,
5.
not like this.
My shell literally was on like 0.2 second cooldown as well. That's sad.
Do you
That's
actually
fine. I think I would die anyway. That's just terrible, man. I cannot survive
How long on your blue?
that. 5
I
seconds.
let Fenrir. I let Fenrir do it. Fenrir can do it with you.
Jing is on my purple. Oh, I'm back.
Your middle tower is under attack.
Enemy missing middle.
Yes. Set up an ambush
I'll be
here.
right back.
He's just jumped. If he comes, he dies. He's on red now.
My early game is fucked, by the way.
Jing has shell, by the way, no bits. She has the shell.
Oh yes.
Been slain. I say, jolly good show.
Red buff OP.
I'm farming.
Gank left lane. Ultimate is ready.
You guys have the speed buff.
Is that a result?
Yeah, I guess wait for speed.
Be right back. Cancel that. You've got some strong magic.
I have stun.
Set up an ambush here.
Ares is here as well. Stun.
Missing. He's probably rotating over. I'm gonna do speed and then I'll walk over to left and we can
I
watch the
guess
jungle
this,
cold.
no, this is over.
We can still go. We can still go.
I have no mana anymore.
Odin, I'm coming. I have shell. Odin's behind.
Just get out. Get out.
Jing no ult. Ares has ult, though. You have to get out.
Your left tower is under attack.
I have ults.
Bro, I actually
Let me
ulted
get-
about 9 times there and it just didn't go off. The fuck? Nice. Ares no ult, and Sunder down
but
on
I'm
whoever
dead
it was.
as well.
Your middle tower.
You can clean up to be fair. Maybe
Just
the
kill
Ares.
Ares, yes,
All
if
of
you
them.
can.
Double kill.
Nice.
Killing spree.
Odin is behind, yes.
Triple kill.
Rip.
Rampage.
No problem. Didn't know you do that much damage, to be honest. I have TP.
I'm walking over.
I
Kill
have
the other.
Stampede. I have Stampede. Uller no mana.
An enemy has been
Oh, they no mana as well.
I don't need to talk
Where
much
is,
this
oh,
game.
okay, I go, let
Nothing
him
does
recall
come.
in.
No dash, no dash, no dash. Oh, no way, man. Can someone ult? I'm kidding.
Nah, man, nah.
I can kill, I think. No, I can't. He's back.
Odin's just.
Actually,
went
isn't
mid, I
this so terrible on Yemoja? She doesn't have, like, normal cooldowns.
I don't.
Now that I think about it,
he's
maybe it's a
coming
horrible item on her.
purple.
Just, you have Thunder, just secure it, man. I
Yeah.
can't do that.
Does it look?
Yeah,
Jing
he has
Way's not
Sunder
there,
as well.
so... No, Sunder should be down. I'm coming.
I mean, with no abilities. Is this tab hunting you? I need to get it.
That is so much damage.
I'll attack left lane.
Jing no ult.
Damn. I can't believe how much
Yes,
damage
so-
that actually did. That's crazy.
No, he used
How
it
did that
on
kill?
the tower.
Can we
Oh,
go
we
into
should
the?
not-
sure,
Can we go to his
He's
blue?
going
or no?
purple, I think, yes.
I'm
I
in
have
purple,
no
so I'm
ult
in.
in for 10.
He knows I'm here. Odin should be in the left jungle, to be honest, as well.
Just leave if you.
I lost the full wave for this.
Ulla's
time,
here, Ulla's
which
here.
really sucks.
Yeah,
Okay.
just leave.
Your right tower is under attack.
Could you get oracles?
Oh,
You see Ares, yeah?
here
You
as
saw
well.
Ares, yeah.
Yeah.
Missing right.
Ares is probably doing this.
They're on purple.
Yeah, he's waiting for
Enemy
me
has left the
there.
game. That's too bad. An enemy has returned.
Blessing for you.
It's okay, it's okay.
Gank right lane.
Nah, man, fuck this wall, man. I'm just dead. No, I'm just dead. Because this game is fucking shit.
An ally has been slain. Double kill.
Jingwei shot. Ares ult.
I killed that fucking Jingwei there if the game is not fucking retarded. Oh, sorry, you're streaming. My bad.
Under attack. Your middle tower.
Don't even get
Jing no
there.
shell and no ults. Ares no ults.
And no Sunder?
Nope.
The enemy team has destroyed the gold. Your left tower is under
Stay
attack.
alert.
I'm just gonna leave you alone, to be honest.
Yeah, better I just AFK farm.
Yeah, no white bounces twice in one god. It also feels pretty unfair.
Stay alert.
Well, I mean, the double bounce would be fine if it didn't also do as much damage as it does. That's pretty fucking high damage. Odin there.
Odin is ganking, right?
Not as soft as it looks.
Someone left.
He has ward there.
Okay. I'll just let you do your
I
part.
don't know, I thought Fenrir was coming, considering he was saying that he
We
was.
do Naga?
That's my bad, I thought you were coming, Nate.
Oh, sorry. I should have told you I wasn't.
Since you said he was coming. I should have just looked at the map instead. Now I'm losing blue. They might just be doing our buffs.
Maybe.
Enemy missing left.
Gank right lane.
I need to figure out what the hell I want to buy.
Your right tower is under attack.
Odin is
No,
so
right,
tanky
right.
as well, but it's just because he's, well, it's not just because he's fed, he's also going tanky, but...
Do we kill at all? I don't think so.
My blessing for you.
I'm walking over.
I'm on my way as well.
Ally has been
Ares
slain.
ults. Uller no jump. Uller no jump. Uller no jump.
Jingwei missing. No, he's on red.
Oh well. Jump.
Ares no ult. Ares no ult.
Nice.
Like a dying star.
Odin no beats. Jing no dash.
Jing, Shell, and ult.
Your right
Okay, I'm too weak to come. I'll probably
And
die in an auto
dash.
attack
Yeah,
here.
it's okay. It's okay.
Do I chase this?
I'm gonna ward the right side.
Nah.
You owe me big time.
I just need more power. I cannot one-shot Merlin yet.
I don't have a shell for 65 by the way, so... We're fucked if you get caged.
Nice.
Okay,
So
man.
he's
Yeah, okay,
Agni.
man. Yeah, yeah.
He's Agni just.
An ally has been slain.
Air is coming middle.
You. We'll take
Yeah,
this
we'll
tower.
Playing very aggro. Someone might be coming.
Under attack. Your team has destroyed a middle enemy tower.
Stay alert.
Oh yeah, did he get ganked in left?
Yeah, yeah. I was trying to place wards and he was
okay. Well,
already
let's
in
see
the
that.
bush.
Your left
Sure.
tower.
Sure.
If they come, we can fight, by the way.
My blessing for you.
We have to defend left and left. Red in future.
Your right
Speed coming up as well.
Your left tower
Not speed, gold. I'm coming towards purple.
shut down.
Oh no, not like this.
She's at purple.
Results in center.
Okay. We both suck, I guess.
I'll
Well,
Yes, ult.
Odin's in right.
I have to get out. I'm 1 HP. No mana.
This sucks, man. We're just not really getting much out of that. We're still basically just got an even trade over here in a 3v4.
Tower is under attack.
Oh, never mind.
I think we're chasing a bit too much.
Like a dying star.
they're probably teleporting, to be honest.
Odin was low. They were both pretty low, but they probably just backed so they could still
I'm
be
coming
there.
anyways.
You can try, but if you see anyone, just get out.
Yeah, gold gonna hit you.
Left the game.
Okay. Yeah, there you go. Odin is relaxing.
Morgan is going right. It's free.
Your team has destroyed the gold.
I'm gonna ward with pyro.
Your middle tower is under attack.
I can gank Merlin, I think. Is he there?
Yeah, they're missing.
Oh,
Never mind.
I'm coming. I'm coming.
An enemy has left the game.
Poor guy.
Does he do that much damage?
I just fucked up. I just used everything on the wave. I didn't see who was behind me. Did not realize he was literally right behind me.
Agni, if you can, we can fight.
Had fucking no Omi and no ult at the time.
Oh my god, he's so fast. What's his beats anyway?
Worth. In my books, that's called worth.
Ares is somewhere here near Jing.
Jing is pushing too much, by the way.
On my way. I'll attack left
I'll come
lane.
left as well.
An enemy has returned.
Okay, man. Yeah, man. 500 damage from the fucking bullshit ass ability. Nice.
Lol.
Come on, man.
It's okay. It's okay.
I think we could have killed that though. It's a result.
Jing has ult and shell.
Why are we so passive, man? We can so easily kill them. Let's go in.
Everyone is in left side. There's no objective on left side.
Like, I'm so behind now because of all this rotation and just
Odin
not
jump.
getting anything out of it.
They're going for Agni 100% because he's out of position.
There's two here. They are going to Agni. Yeah.
I'm walking.
Enemies behind us.
Should we just pull fire or some shit, like pyro?
Jingwei and there is on right side. They're doing
They're
that.
on pyro. I mean, they're on Naga.
They have ulti power. Merlin no beats.
You're alone with Fuller, I think.
They're going to the pyro.
They're on that pyro.
There is no
I'm gonna go
chance.
around the back.
I'm
There's
rotating.
no stun.
On my way. Group up. On my way.
Wait for Agni maybe. Oh, nice.
Go ahead and behind me as well.
Has been destroyed.
I give you
The
movement speed. I
enemy
give you
team
movement
has
speed.
destroyed the pyramid. Your
We
middle
bait.
tower
We bait.
Your right tower is under attack.
Nice.
Taking my ult off before I died. It sucks. Still though, does some good damage.
I don't have a dash for it, but his is
Wait,
coming up.
wait,
Actually,
can do.
I
Do fire, do
regret
fire.
building
Can't
this.
tank
No,
this.
no one can tank this, I think.
I built this instead. Yeah, prefer that.
Odin just gets a
Odin
quadra
and
here.
get
This
the
leads
penta.
to
Yeah,
nothing.
nah,
Yeah,
he's
you
here.
put the ward,
Alright,
you put
never
the
mind.
ward.
I need to build
Fuck
up.
it,
Yeah, cool,
secure, fuck it, whatever.
I'm gonna stun him. I lied.
Dude, there's no way.
No way did he steal that.
Enemy team has
Yes, of
destroyed the
course.
fire giant.
Because Agni should have just hit the fire and not the guy.
Oh well.
Let's go hybrid build. Give me a build, Sev. I'll try it next time. Think Yemoja could work in mid? Probably. I would imagine so. I still don't see it being that good.
At
Like,
least I
she
don't
has a
think
damage
many
output
of
for
them
sure.
got it.
But I
maybe
think she
one or
struggles
two
a bit in terms of mobility still. Even more so going into late game. I think it just gets worse.
You owe me big time.
She doesn't really have an
Me
instant
big
escape.
time.
She just gets one shot. Once you see her, she dies.
Your middle tower is under attack. The enemy team has destroyed the Gold Fury.
Stay alert.
I just need to farm now. I just keep dying.
Gank middle
The kills
lane.
I'm getting
Your middle
don't seem to
tower
give me
is
enough
under attack.
XP.
Not as soft as it looks.
An
I
enemy
beat.
has
Enemy
been
Holy
slain.
shit, I'm
Yes,
so fucking
nice.
rogue.
Impressive.
It's okay.
Gank
All
left
their
lane.
beats.
Group up. Your middle tower is under attack.
I still have movement speeds.
Your left tower
I'm
is
TPing left
under
as well.
attack.
We can catch Jingwei, by the way. For sure.
There should be enough to kill Ares, yes.
Good job.
Odin is here as well. I mean,
Odin.
just push left, whatever.
We can push,
That's
yeah.
easy.
We pushed it one, maybe. Front of
I'll
us
go
and
defend
push.
right still.
Okay.
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 Your right tower is under
Enemy
attack.
missing right.
You owe me big time.
Not as soft.
Your team has destroyed the left enemy tower. The pyromancer has arrived.
I have within 20. We don't go 42.
No,
We
just
don't
leave
go
it,
here.
just leave.
Okay, they
Just leave,
rotated.
just leave.
We could probably kill him, to be honest.
Actually, yes.
An enemy has been slain.
I have ult, I have ult.
Killing spree.
On my way.
Double kill.
What? If you guys can just, like, just be patient, I think we win
I'm
this.
on my way, yeah.
Taunted on
Remember,
Merlin.
Jing has no beats.
Oh, my dagger ran out. Oh my god, okay.
Oh, that sucks.
It's okay.
Literally 1 second, I didn't see. No, that Yemoja is fucking crazy.
Brilliant.
Oh no, not like
Run,
this.
little Acne, run.
Damn.
Nah, my bad there, fellas. I hinted, I didn't see.
No, no. Jing's
Sands.
gonna do
Oh,
pyro,
you
I
just
believe.
want a full cooldown. That makes sense, yeah.
We just need wards for the gold.
I also do think Conduit doesn't
I'm
feel
gonna
that
ward
great on
Cloud
her.
City.
So
I will
this is pretty much my first time trying her out.
Yeah, they are on
I
pyro.
tried her. Actually, it's not true. I tried her once in a casual last night, I think, but I was tired as hell.
The enemy team has destroyed the pyromancer.
So I'm just testing shit.
group up.
Yes.
They. Never mind.
Man, I need farm.
Jingwei's making.
I really gotta get 20.
Odin no jump. Odin no jump on the ship.
You're alone, by the way. They're grouping for gold. I don't think we
Okay,
can.
chain.
Yeah, we have to fight.
I'm coming.
Jing. for us. Don't die, don't die.
Finish
Don't
this
die.
and then do fire.
Yes, 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 yes.
Your team has destroyed the
Sentries, guys. I'm gonna buy a sentry.
Fire giant. The
Bro, that Yemoja roll on top of my armor roll was so hot.
Yeah, it was pretty nice.
I can try to zone. I don't have any.
You're
I
pretty
don't have,
nice.
like, the-
Wait, just wait 10 seconds for my ult. I just ulted one of them. I guess, I don't know.
I mean,
We could just go if you want. We can just do it if you want.
I can't tank it, so you probably have to nade.
I can. I can.
Okay, I don't know why they went back, but
Help, thumbs up.
unlucky.
think we
Just
can
do
do
it,
this.
just
I
do
think we
it.
can
Just do it.
just do this. Just burn.
Who is Sander? We have no Sander, unlucky. Someone take dagger, because I fucked up.
I'm just
Can we
gonna
go
retouch.
base and buy stuff? Yes.
Yeah. Get Warhorn before we go though.
Yeah, yeah, I'm gonna back. I'm pretty tanky.
Not as soft as it looks.
Yeah, I've just got my
You
bubble
want
as
to do
well.
more Omi region, I see. Yeah, definitely makes sense. I do want to see if I can. I
You
guess
guys
I'll just
wanna
finish
push
this
left
shit.
first?
Find a good build for it.
Yes.
I'll try
Yeah.
yours. I'll
Really, you should go right to left, but we'll just do
keep
it.
an eye on it. Screenshot it probably. Try it maybe in
know
a
if you
casual.
guys
See how much
wanna-
better it
Because
feels.
we need to go left because the
Put up a
wave is
triangle
less
now.
pushed left.
I think she's a
and
bit
we're
hard
on
to
top.
carry with at times. Like,
Okay.
if they can you, if you get focused,
I
it's
think
so
we win
hard to play the
5v5.
game.
I have.
But if they just
oh, I
leave
don't
you
have
like
BT
in a single
I have
team
BT
fight, you will
50.
just kill their whole team.
That shell is
That
on
is the
Ragnar,
mage,
so
the
we
mage
just
experience, but still.
Yemoja roll anyone, they die.
I mean, if
Wouldn't gonna
any one of like if Agni just hits 1 CC or something on Jinx, he
Then
should
rear
die.
tank, I can just take it.
Your team has
Be careful, Nero.
destroyed a left enemy tower.
I'll attack middle lane.
Can I have this?
Sure.
Thank you.
Your team has destroyed a middle enemy tower.
We taking towers or do you want to push?
Take all towers first while we have the
Yeah,
buff.
take
Okay.
towers. Yeah.
Okay.
Be careful middle. Your team has destroyed a right enemy tower.
We don't have.
If
any
vote
minions
backs,
now.
we get this, right? No?
I mean, we need one pick here. I don't think we can just enter.
We need
Okay.
minions.
Oh, okay.
Jingwei knows help. Jingwei knows.
I didn't know that.
Jingwei knows. We have to go in, guys. We have to go in. Okay, we can chill a bit.
I did a lot of damage there.
Dude, Phoenix,
get
take
Phoenix,
one
get
Phoenix
Phoenix.
first. Yes.
I'm
Because
gonna
they're backing.
Fuck. I'll let you guys get it. You should be able to get it. I'm gonna push right.
Nice job, guys. Nice job. There is no chain.
Okay,
can go and
we
do
go
gold.
for
Gold
gold.
three to do.
Pyro,
Let's see what
pyro,
happens.
pyro back gold, probably.
Okay, okay.
Okay, sure, I guess. Yeah, I think Agni is probably not on voice. We need to give him actual calls with
Yeah, yeah.
in game.
Your team has destroyed the pyramid.
Kind of good, to be fair. It doesn't
I
really
mean,
need
we
it.
can, we can. It's fine.
Sure as F. I got you, bro.
I have a full item when I'm back.
Question is what I actually built here. I think I'll just do soul gem. Get some
We
kind
only
of
have
life
10
steal.
seconds. On fire.
Follow if you dare.
Agni, do you hear us?
Your team has destroyed the Gold Fury.
Say yes if you hear us.
No, he doesn't actually.
Yeah, he doesn't.
Damn. They got it anyway. I wanted the
Did
war
they
horn.
get the? Ah, yes, they did get the.
I'm gonna start warding fire. Don't be alone. They can try to get a pick.
No, no, I was just trying to ward, but he was here getting
Yeah, they're
the
all here.
I ward.
stuns.
I don't have beads though. 40 seconds.
I'm coming, I'm coming. I have shell, obviously.
Just wait
I
for
need
the Lanza
to.
beads.
I'm
Just wait
gonna
for
ward
Lanza beads.
fire. Someone needs to ward like beyond, because I don't want to go there.
I'll try, I'll try.
Look for
Okay,
Jingwei here.
fine.
Someone else.
I'm with you. I'm with you.
Can I go Newton?
Okay,
just
Jing
wait.
entered. Yeah, Jing, just go in, go in.
Not as soft as it looks.
It's okay. Air is ult.
It's Odin ult and the beads?
An enemy has been slain.
Like a dying.
Yeah, we can end fire. We can end Titan.
Should we end probably?
We're pretty poked though.
Yeah,
We're like
yeah, yeah.
we're kind of poked. Fire would be the easiest
yeah,
call.
Oh
yeah,
my-
actually, yeah,
Okay,
okay,
yeah,
yeah,
okay.
actually,
You
yeah,
guys can
because
go
the Yemoja
you
is
guys
not
can go
tank
fire.
and can't heal us.
Nate, we need you to tank it.
Oh shit, my bad.
Group up. Attack Fire Giant.
I don't wanna. I don't wanna.
Oh, am I dead? Yeah, am I dead? Oh, my bad. Nate, you bait
Okay, this
motherfucker.
is bad. No, they're coming. We should just leave.
Yeah, I just leave it now.
Oh, I have to defend left as well.
Yeah, that left
Yes,
Phoenix is
yes.
getting torched.
Someone needs to stay here though. If they see someone on the ward.
I didn't want Impact to die, so I was trying to help him get away.
Your left Phoenix is under attack.
I just thought you were going in, so I just went in.
I mean, they're gonna rush. Yes, they're
They
gonna
jumped
rush.
in. They jumped
We
in.
can still
I
defend it.
jumped in.
It's fine. Just
I have a bomb.
You have Sunder?
I have Thunder.
Yes, they also have Sunder.
Oh my god, that damage. Nice.
Nice.
But
I mean,
take it.
I'm gonna ult.
Nice.
Odin is 1 HP.
just chase them. Chase them.
Motherfucker. That's good.
No Phoenix, I guess.
Yeah, get mid and right things. Just wait for the right one.
I'll push up mid. I should be able to
Your
get it.
team has destroyed a right enemy.
Nah, you're gonna get it anyways. It's okay.
I have beads. I have beads.
Actually, I don't have beads. I need to stay away from mirrors.
I have shell.
You can be with me. I have beads. Oh, I beat.
Thank you.
I'm gonna stand on it.
Nice, and. Oh,
Let's go, boys.
Hide them. GG, fellas.
GG.
GG.
Jeez.
GG.
Victory.
Like she definitely does a lot of damage if you just ignore it. But I think in a case where she falls behind, this build is just terrible. Not just the build. I mean, it's gonna be very hard with the aspect. Damn, Ullr had a rough time this game. Alright. I think that will be it for me, though. It's getting real hot, and I'm getting hungry. So, ending a bit shorter than, or earlier than I planned to, but it's not like, I was going to do like one more game anyway. It's not that big. At least I got to play something different today, which is fun. Yemoja aspect is definitely interesting. And pretty broken in some aspects. But it's fun. Yeah, it was a fun game, Nate. It was. But thank you guys for watching. I really do appreciate it. And I will see you guys next time. Bye.